Welcome to A Podcast Divided. I am Daniel, and I'm a Cubs fan.
And I'm Andy, and I'm the denominator, and I'm a Sox fan.
And this is A Podcast Divided after the intro.
Your daily Cubs White Sox podcast, the best place for all the baseball debate you need.
I like how the guy at the intro said, best place for all the baseball debate you need.
You need this, guys.
As a replenishment, like water.
Yeah, welcome back to A Podcast Divided.
Where we save lives.
The baseball debate you do need. And so we're going to start off, and this whole podcast is about farm systems, if you haven't noticed. We've been talking about free agent speculation. We've run that dry. We've squeezed everything out of the discussion that we've got. So we're going to be talking about the Cubs farm system and Sox farm system and talk about these players that will be making an impact at the major league level upcoming very soon. So I'm going to start off with the Cubs and
First he gets to start off. Ladies first.
Okay. Excuse me. So we're going to start off with two players who have been at the major league level. First of all, the main one, the guy that should be an impact player at the major league level, and the guy who also might be a reason why we don't need Cody Bellinger as much because we have Happen Suzuki. PCA, Pete Crow Armstrong. And, he's a career 301 here in the minors, been in the minors for 3 years. And last year was the year he actually made his major league debut. And unfortunately, he went 0 for 14 in the major. So on the hitting side, we really didn't see anything from him, literally nothing. He did make a couple amazing acrobatic catches in outfield. These were amazing, but still – going 0 for 14 at the plate, that wasn't the best showing. And then also you got to think about his speed that he showed at the major league level. In 13 games, he got 2 stolen bases, and if you average that's 25 in a season. So, and he's got good speed. He's got a good bat. At least he's shown that in the minors. We haven't seen it at the major league level, but he's barely had a cup of tea at the majors. So. So he's got speed, hitting, defense, and he's good in the outfield. Center is what would be a good spot, but he can really play all around. And he's the main guy in this Cubs farm system currently. But they've got a lot more guys too in this great one. And Kevin Alcantara is the guy who also came up last year, and he is the number 5th rated prospect in the Cubs system, PCA 1. And Alcantara is also an outfielder. And he only played in 2 games versus Armstrong. He played in 13. So, and Alcantara went one out of 4. So, but he has good potential because he's a career 256 hitter in the minors, and he's going to provide a solid bat, but I don't think he's going to be a star anytime soon or ever.
Wow.
And then you also, you're not going to, if you can't hit over 250, career in the minors, you're not going to be a star hitter at the major league level. Does that mean you're not going to be a valuable piece to this team? No, but he's not going to be that guy who's like a star. So PCA might be though. And then got some other guys. First of all, though, we did have that trade that just happened. So Michael Busch, he did not play in the majors for the Cubs, but we did see him play in the majors.
The
majors. And although he didn't show much at the major league level yet. He can fill in that third base hole, and he's consistently hit over 300 in AAA. But like I said, struggled in the MLB in his debut. He hit 167 with 2 home runs. So clearly, a lot of these Cubs prospects had the same story of came up in the small sample size. We didn't see that much. We know they've got potential, And we're just hoping they deliver. And like Rizzo, when he came up in the majors at first, he hit like under 200. So, but it would be definitely be nice to see some big strides of improvement in the following 2024 season. So, and also we talk about the holes that the Cubs need to fill, and you think about free agents a lot. But Michael Busch could actually be the guy that fills up that third base hole for the Cubs. And so that's the main guys who were up already. But we also do have Owen Casey, who is a very big force to be reckoned with. He is only 20.
He's big. I'll tell you that.
he's only in Double A, but I actually got to see him in Double A in Tennessee, and let's just say this guy, he hits. In 2020,
he's a hitter. I wouldn't expect any less.
He hits though. Like some people just get up there and hit, but he hits. Like last year he hit 289. All right.
Okay.
With
in Double A,
22 home runs. Like that he's got some potential. He's got pop. He's got average, and you don't expect to have the same numbers at the major league level necessarily. But he's shown signs of greatness. And, I mean, he is definitely – I mean, in single A in 2022, he did hit 254. But we've got to think about the positive. And, if he can carry that from Double A into Triple A, we might, by the end of the 2024 season, be seeing Owen Casey at the major league level like PCA last year, and getting his own cup of tea in the majors before in 2025, being a pretty big force. And a lot of the prospects we've been talking about are outfielders, weird enough. So if you think about signing Bellinger, in at least some ways, that makes zero sense because you have Happ and Suzuki for sure. And then you've got all these prospects, and if you want them to be good, you're going to have to play them in their position, right? It seems pretty easy to me.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. These prospects, again, aren't going to be on the Cubs for a few years. And Happ and Suzuki, if you want to win a World Series, they're not going to be able to protect the helm in the outfield. You guys need a star in order to win a World Series. And Happ and Suzuki, I'm sorry to say this, and this is going to hurt your feelings, aren't those guys.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you mean. But also, I'm actually kind of rethinking what I said because you got me thinking about their contracts. And first of all, Ian Happ, he signed a 3-year contract following the 2023 season. So 2024 to 2026, he's going to be at the Cubs major league level, and that's pretty certain because he's being paid a little over $20 million a year to do that. However, following that, I mean, there's no reason why the Cubs have to keep him, and it would definitely be cheaper to go with the homegrown talent. And it's funny enough, if you think about Suzuki, the other guy we're talking about, he's also signed till 2026, and then in 2027 it says UFA. So I don't even know what that means, but
unrestricted free agent.
Unrestricted free agent. Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, he's okay. That makes sense actually. So, in other words, both of these guys are only going to be here for the next 3 seasons, which seems like a while, but with these prospects, in 3 years they might be ready to step it up. So, we could be seeing, for example, PCA, Casey, and Bellinger outfield in 2027. And, I mean, you're right. We technically don't got to keep Seiya and Ian in the outfield starting. But we probably shouldn't be wasting $20 million a year on players to be bench players. So there's definitely a lot of potential in this Cubs system. And last guy I want to talk about is Cade Horton. So he's a right-handed pitcher, also at Double A. That Double-A team is stacked. And
really?
one of the best two-way prospects in the 2020 high school class, but he went undrafted. But right now he's finding himself at the number 2 spot, the number 2 spot in the Cubs system, and they're not the top system in the league, but they're pretty high up there. So that's saying something. And I mean, he's had his struggles, but right now he's one of those players that you should expect to see in the MLB pretty soon. And he definitely doesn't have too much velocity, but he definitely has enough where you're like, okay, this guy can make a big impact. And he's a right-handed relief pitcher. So, I mean, I don't think we're going to say no to any relief pitchers. I've seen a lot of those being called up, especially after the trade deadline in 21-22. I mean, game after the trade deadline, we were stacked with all these relief pitchers just because we had to call someone up to pitch. Someone's got to end the game, close the games, and I don't know if we're going to be in that desperation spot this year. Hopefully not.
Hopefully.
You hope so, Andy, but
I do, actually.
I mean, on three teams last year, single A plus, and double A. So he's been in that single A to double A range. He pitched a combined 2.65 ERA, and he oddly actually had a better ERA at the single A and double A level, and then he didn't have that good of a time at single A plus. And he had more games at the single A plus level, but 10 combined where he pitched to a sub 1.5, 1.26, and 1.33 ERA. And then that one year when he was on that in between team, he actually had a way worse ERA, 3.83. So he's definitely someone to watch, and he could make a big impact. We're in a position in the bullpen where the Cubs need impact. The Cubs need someone in there to get the outs. And I know we're talking about Hader, all these guys. Who can we sign? You've got talents. You've got prospects who will be making the major league minimum, who can come up and pitch for you maybe better than most free agents that are out there for relief pitchers. I think we should still sign Hader. But we can't forget about the farm system, about that homegrown talent that can also make a huge impact at the major league level. And, we could talk all day about prospects if you wanted to, but we're definitely ready to make an impact with our farm system at the major league level, and hopefully we can keep those prospects trending through. So that's the Cubs segment. So after this tiny break, we'll be back with the White Sox. So if you need tickets for anything, concerts, anything, literally sports events, concerts, I don't care what it is, then SeatGeek is the app for you. And we have a special discount offer for you. And if you use code FORTBOYS for $20 off your first purchase, then your life will be a lot easier because you'll get that $20 off and you can even sit a little closer. So thank you, SeatGeek, for sponsoring channels. And Andy, let's hear some stuff about the Sox farm system.
The only really interesting thing here is that I updated my audio profile. But here are some other things about the White Sox farm system. It's pretty thin. It's just like our MLB talent, it's quite thin. To start off, our best prospect has to be Colson Montgomery, who was a shortstop. We drafted him in 2020, I believe. He's played 3 years in the White Sox farm system. He has a career batting average of 280, which is okay. But he was supposed to be really good at home runs. That was his thing before he got drafted. And in 667 at-bats, he currently has 19 of them. So it seems like he's going to be more of a contact hitter when he gets in the MLB. He's currently in Double-A in the Birmingham Barons, which is better than any Tennessee Cubs team. There's Colson Montgomery right there. Expect him to play either a shortstop or third base. My guess is that he's going to move on to a third baseman when he gets into the MLB. And here's the number 2 prospect, Noah Schultz, who honestly, so far when I'm looking into this prospect system, has really jumped out at me the most. He's played 1 year for the White Sox farm system for the Kannapolis Cannonballers at Single A, but still, for Single A, this is pretty good. He has a 1.33 ERA and an opponent average of 0.175, which is pretty darn good. So I'm pretty excited to see what Noah Schultz can do. We drafted him the year after Colson Montgomery, so 2021.
Yep.
He just seems pretty good. Oh, wait, no, it was Montgomery 2021, Schultz 2022. Okay, and then let's move on to the prospect that we got from 2023 draft, shortstop Jacob Gonzalez. Jacob Gonzalez, he didn't have a great first year for the let's see what's the end. He's on the Single A. Didn't have the best year. 211 average, 26 hits and 123 at bats. So yeah, I mean his on base percentage is 0.333. So he already looks like not the best. And here's a prospect catcher, Edgar Cuero, who we traded for in the trade deadline for Lucas Giolito with the Angels. So his career stats, he played 3 years in the system, about half a year for the White Sox system. And he's pretty good. He's pretty good. He has a career 279 batting average, 409 on base, 448 slugging. He has 28 home runs and 902 at bats. He doesn't seem that bad, but then again, just like everyone else here, he doesn't seem that great. And I'm going to talk about 2 more pitchers. Here's a lefty, Jake Eater, who we also got in the trade deadline for Jake Berger. And I was saying, I think it was last podcast, that he better be good. That this man better be good, because I'm not going to trade Jake Berger for just any old Joe Schmo who is third in the pitching rotation. I want this guy to be lights out for the White Sox. And based on his projections, that is not the case. He has a career 3.80 ERA. 2021 looked really promising. 2022, I don't even have any stats for him in 2022. I don't know what happened there. 2023, however, that was his worst year. He had a 6.35 ERA that year. His opponent average was 268, which is already way over league average. And yeah, so 2023 did not look promising at all for the young lad. So I really hope he turns it around and goes back to his 2021 self, which, to remind you, was a 1.77 ERA, 169 opponent batting average. Yeah, his whip was totally different in the years. 2021, 0.98 under 1, and 2023, 1.68. So if he doesn't turn it around, this already looks like a win for the Marlins. Just getting rid of him. Getting rid of him for nobody already looks better than, like Berger added to. And then our last pitcher, who we also got at the trade deadline, Nick Nastrini. I do like him because his name is Italian. That's not funny.
Like you?
No, not like me.
Hey guys,
Okay,
if you don't
so
know, this is an Italian White Sox fan. Right?
I'm not a Cubs fan, nor am I Italian. Your accusations are completely askew. So Nick Nastrini, it seems like whenever the prospects get traded to the White Sox system, they automatically do worse, because 2021, 1.93 ERA, 2022, 3.93 ERA, that's not very good, and then 2023, 4.08, which is just fantastic. So yeah, I mean, his career is 3.89 ERA. His opponent average is actually very good at 1.98. So it seems like his problem is just hits. He gets a lot of strikeouts, it seems. 340 of them in just 3 years, which is very good. And one of those years, he only had 32 strikeouts. And that was his first year, where he only played 14 innings. So his strikeouts are very, very good. As 2023, he had 139 strikeouts 2022 at 169. So I'm really liking this dude's strikeouts, but he's not really good at anything else. So yeah, that's really the White Sox farm system. It's pretty thin.
Yeah, I mean, you guys definitely. I know this isn't about the White Sox rebuild, but we might do a show about how should the White Sox rebuild in the near future, because that is an intriguing topic of the possibilities. Although the reason why it's not so intriguing is because it's going to take a while. But that's definitely the way you guys should rebuild. And I did have another point about the Cubs. So
no, it's gonna be
our teams are not only loaded with good players.
You love deceiving everybody, don't you?
But our teams are having success. And, I love Tennessee. And our AA affiliate that I've seen play twice, the Tennessee Smokies, they won their championship. They won their first outright title, Southern League title, in 45 years.
Well, so even your farm system has big droughts.
It was only 45.
Only 45. Well, that's only half of 108.
It's still amazing. We did it, man. And Trey Morgan got 4 strikeouts in the last game, which is amazing. And it's kind of cool. I'm glad Marquis sometimes shows us these games.
Yeah, they don't really want to show any MLB games. Too sad.
It's the future,
The future that will get traded, or won't perform in the MLB. Just because you're good in the minors doesn't mean you're going to be good in the MLB.
Well, not necessarily, but first of all, you can be used as a good trade piece. Second of all, a lot of them will be.
Yeah, but not all of them.
Oh yeah, no, not all of them. Definitely.
Then why are you bragging about the Smokies winning the championship when not all baseball? No doubt is a sport where if one person's not performing, the whole team's not performing. Baseball is a team game.
Team's got 25 players on the roster.
I know, but only 5 of them are going to make the MLB.
And they're all going to have 5 players. That's a lot of players.
Exactly. That's a lot for one team that's barely related to you player-wise in the future, past and present.
I think it's more like 15 of them will be at the major league level. Just saying.
So you're going to have a bunch of minor leaguers?
I mean, you've got to think about it this way, right? It's sometimes hard to think, but it's true, that your future is defined by your prospect system. And honestly, you don't even realize how many of the players that were in your farm system a few years ago, and you were like, who cares really about these guys? And now they're making impacts at the major league level for your team, and you know them. And a lot of these guys are going to be big, but also, Jackson Ferris and the other dude who got traded in that trade.
Actually.
Oh, yeah, no. It was Zahir Hope. Those 2 guys, Zahir Hope and Jackson Ferris, were the 2 guys. Jackson Ferris especially. I mean, Zahir Hope, he's pretty young. No one really knows what will happen to him. Jackson Ferris could end up being a really good starter and by us really bad for making that trade. But we also showed how these prospects, especially Hope, I mean, no one knows if he's actually going to end up being a good major league player. He's 18. He's in single A, But you can trade these guys for someone like Bush, who actually probably will be at least somewhat of a good third baseman and potentially make a big impact, and fill that hole,
Sure.
You're undervaluing the farm system, which is the basis. And I'm moving my hands right now. Okay.
Oh my goodness, you are dude.
But this is the basis of all MLB teams. The basis.
Yeah, but not the entire AA team isn't going to go on the entire MLB team. That's not how it works.
I guess a little bit, but I think it's more important than you think, but
I know how important it is, Daniel. Believe me. When I see the White Sox farm system, I'm like, dang, we're gonna be bad for another 10 years.
because you should think that. Because they're trash.
Well, Noah Schultz isn't that bad. But like he's one pitcher, and just like I said, baseball's a team game. None of these people are good besides Noah Schultz and maybe Colson Montgomery. So yeah, this is not very good. I do not like what I see when I see the White Sox farm system. But then again, Daniel, I don't like what I see when I see your farm system.
Oh, that's an insult.
It is, because we all know what's going to happen because you guys are the Cubs. You're going to find a way to screw everything up, even though you're giving all the fans hope by having a good farm system.
You know, I mean,
that's how it's always worked for the past 150 years.
Okay, so I cannot prove to you that any of these guys, none of them have any proof that's concrete that they will be stars or even solid players to the major league level. But I can logically assume that most of these top prospects will be on the Cubs team or will be in a big trade that will result in very good players or a player
that might be
on
the
Cubs. Maybe. But I can't prove that it's not going to be a bust, but I can also logically assume that a lot of them will have success, especially...
I can also logically assume that 108 years of no championships is impossible, but look what happened there.
Oh my gosh. It's different. Irrational logic.
It's not irrational. You guys are pathetic. You always will be.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like I was saying again.
I can logically assume that in the most crucial moment of the NLCS, that a fan's not going to get in the way in the 8th inning when you guys are winning, and then the game just goes the other way for the rest of the whole series. I can logically assume that that's not going to happen. Oh wait, it did.
You know, you gotta also think about the Cubs when they rebuilded. A lot of that, and a lot of it, especially, I can prove to you that it's smart because I can tell you about the 2016 team, a success story. You know, a rebuild that worked because we built from the ground up. We started at the dirt, okay?
Congratulations, once.
We built up to a skyscraper, the Willis Tower.
Sears Tower. You said it wrong.
Debatable.
It's not debatable. It's the truth. If you live in Chicago, you call it the Sears Tower. Coincidentally, has 108 floors.
You saw what happened when we built around prospects. You saw what happened when the Mets built around free agents. You saw what happened when we after we built a great farm system, how we ended up having enough money to buy some free agents that would complement.
Yeah, but you're already buying free agents. Well, actually, no, you're not.
Because we're already good.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
No, you're not contenders.
We were last year. We were.
No, you were World Series contenders.
The
Diamondbacks won Cubs game.
The Diamondbacks won one more game than us, and we were at them for most of the year, and they were in the World Series.
Yeah, because they actually had a good team with talent.
Come on.
You guys are the Cubs. You're never gonna amount to anything. They're the Diamondbacks. They're a new team in the MLB. They're frankly new, and they have already won a World Series. They've had success. You in your 150 years of history failed.
Andy, the history does not affect how good this team is. This team is also a young team, complemented by free agents, just like 2016, just like the Diamondbacks,
You're going
just
insane, dude.
like the Phillies back in 2022 that I quoted all of last year.
Did you expect the 2023 Cubs
I did expect
to choke that badly and continue their choking that they've done so many unprecedented amounts of years before. Did you expect that to happen in 2023?
I did not expect that, but why? Why?
Then the Cubs are the Cubs of 1984, of 1906, of 2003. It's still the same team.
What I did expect, though, is a team making it in with 89 or fewer games, because I told you about the Phillies back in 2022 or in 2020.
Because they have talent. They have Bryce Harper, JT Realmuto, Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler. They have so many players.
But they won 89 games, and I told you.
Harper was injured for the whole season.
I told you.
Harper was injured. All these players were injured during the season, came back, perfect timing, and they made it to the World Series. You guys had a healthy season last year, and then choked and didn't even make the playoffs.
Andy, you have to think about this. Win totals don't mean that you won't make it in the World Series. You have to be in. It's a crapshoot. If you make it in, you have a chance. And frankly, with the NL Central being the way it is, with the National League being the way it is, the Cubs should have been in the playoffs. And you agree to that.
You're just getting saucy. Daniel, how do you make it to the World Series?
Make the playoffs. And then get lucky.
No.
Yes. Look at the Dodgers.
Then what's the point of even watching baseball if it's about luck?
What's the point? No, there is a point, because there are 162 games and over. But the playoffs is because you're hoping that you get on the good side of the luck. That you
No, it's about having talent and being clutch. That's what the playoffs is about. It's not about luck. That's what Mario Kart is. You're just being saucy because your team can't make the playoffs, and if they do, you're gonna be like, they should have won the World Series when they get knocked out first round by a team that is much more talented than them.
But the Dodgers were much more talented than the 84-win Diamondbacks last year. The Dodgers won 100 games. Am I right?
Yeah.
Who won? It was a 5-game series. It wasn't even a 3-game series.
So the Diamondbacks were better that series. They played better. There was no element of luck.
Yes, that was luck.
It was better baseball.
Oh, my gosh.
They played better baseball than the Dodgers.
Oh.
If you're in the playoffs, the team on paper doesn't matter.
Exactly. The Cubs.
But you think it's luck. It's about being a good team in the right moment.
That is luck, though.
No, it's not. It's about being a good team in the right moment. You're a team for thinking otherwise.
If the team on paper doesn't matter, then what matters? Luck!
No! It's about being good at the right time.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
That's not luck.
That's not luck.
That's clutch. That's a mixture of clutch and
talent.
Clutch
does not exist. Clutch does not exist.
Now you're just going insane.
That can be proven.
Go to a mental asylum.
No, you go to a mental asylum. Clutch is a real thing.
Then how do you explain Paul Konerko's 2005 World Series Game 2 Grand Slam to put the White Sox at a lead against the Astros? How do you explain that?
He got the equivalent of being struck by lightning.
No! It's a mix of talent and clutch.
It's a mix of talent and luck.
Okay. No. How about we put it into your terms? How do you explain Ben Zobrist's single and on Game 7 or whatever it was, double? I don't care. How do you explain that? Was that luck or was that like Cubs juice or something?
He got lucky, man. It was the rain delay too, though. But
the rain delay was luck. The rain delay was complete luck.
No,
but do you want to know the reason why you won that World Series game? You want to know the reason why you won Game 7 against the Guardians or the Indians at the time?
It was we got hot. They weren't.
Exactly, you got hot.
Yes,
you were a good team at the right moment.
Yes, and that's luck.
No, it's a mixture of team play, clutch, and talent. There is no luck. Luck cannot take you to the World Series.
Okay, so the Diamondbacks were better than the Dodgers.
At the time they were.
at the time, and that's luck that they were good.
That's
at the
not.
time.
That's clutch.
If they were bad at the right
It's a mixture of team play, talent, and most importantly, actually maybe not even most importantly, but clutch.
The Orioles could have made it to the World Series, definitely, but they got swept because
You want to know why? Because they were a
series.
young team that has never had any playoff experience before.
Because
They weren't.
a three-game series has more luck involved than the lottery.
I would have to disagree wholeheartedly on that.
So we're gonna wrap up this podcast, but I've loved the debate at the last 15 minutes.
This has been fun. Explain to Daniel how wrong he is in front of a proper audience.
I'd say the opposite. I'd say you don't have a proper understanding of the playoffs.
I really do. I don't think you have a proper understanding of basic sporting logic. Okay, but yeah, that's gonna wrap it up, everybody.
That's gonna wrap it up.
I hope you had a entertaining time. Hopefully, it was entertaining to you as it was to us.
Yes. Comment what you think of if you watched this far. Comment if you have any opinions about this. Comment who's right. But anyways, thank you for watching.
It's me. I'm right.
I'm Daniel, and I'm a Cubs fan.
Why are we doing this again? I'm not Daniel. I'm Andy, and I'm a Sox fan. Trust me, you've made a lot more mistakes. You've called this the wrong podcast.
And this has been a podcast divided. Thank you for watching.